There are questions in science that don't just challenge our understanding. They shake the very foundations of how we think about reality. And few questions do that more completely than this one. What actually happens inside a black hole? Not on its surface, not near it, inside it, at its core, past the point of no return. Scientists have been wrestling with this for over a century, and the honest answer is that we still don't know. But the possible answers, the ones that mathematics actually permits, are so strange, so breathtaking, that even the most conservative physicists can't fully dismiss them. Today, we're going to walk through all of them, from wormholes to white holes, from parallel universes to the final death of black holes billions of trillions of years from now. Because what lies on the other side of a black hole might be the most profound question humanity has ever asked. Before we can talk about what's inside a black hole, we need to understand what a black hole actually is. And that means starting with Einstein. In the early 20th century, Albert Einstein proposed something radical, that space and time aren't two separate things. They're two aspects of a single unified structure he called space-time. Think of it like a flexible sheet, an invisible cosmic fabric that stretches across the entire universe. And just like a real sheet, it can be bent, curved, and distorted. What does the bending? Mass, energy. Wherever there's a concentration of matter, space-time curves around it, and that curvature is exactly what we experience as gravity. The more massive and compact an object is, the more dramatically it warps the fabric around it. Now take that logic to its extreme. Compress enough mass into a small enough space, and space-time doesn't just curve, it tears. It collapses inward into what you might picture as an infinitely deep sinkhole in the cosmic fabric. The gravitational pull becomes so overwhelming that even light, the fastest thing in the universe, gets dragged in and can no longer escape. The boundary where light can no longer flee, the point of no return, is called the event horizon. And the object at the center of all this distortion is a black hole. At the very heart of every black hole sits something called a singularity, a point where mass has been compressed so completely that the curvature of space-time reaches infinite values. All known physics breaks down here. Our equations stop working, and something deeply strange begins to happen. Here's where things get genuinely unsettling. Inside the event horizon of a black hole, the roles of space and time effectively swap. In our everyday experience, we can move freely through space in any direction, but we can only move forward through time. We have no say in that. Inside a black hole, those rules flip. Once past the event horizon, the singularity isn't a place you can choose to avoid. It becomes an event in your future, inevitable, inescapable. Every possible path through the black hole's interior leads there, regardless of what direction you try to move. It's as if time itself is steering you toward it, and there's no turning back. At the same time, the warping of time is so severe that reaching the singularity would require an infinite amount of it. From the perspective of the outside universe, time at the event horizon slows down and eventually stops entirely. You'd be frozen at that threshold, suspended in a moment that never passes, while the universe outside aged past all recognition. The singularity, then, is not the bottom of a pit. It's the infinite future of a dimension without features, without light, without escape. An eternal chamber with no exit, unless somehow there is an exit. Here's where the mathematics opens a door that physics hasn't yet been able to close. If space-time curves infinitely inside a black hole, nobody truly knows what that means at its absolute limit. And one possibility, strange but not mathematically forbidden, is that the curvature loops back around, that instead of falling into an endless void, the space-time inside a black hole connects to another region of space entirely. Picture a piece of paper with two dots drawn on opposite sides. You could draw a long line from one dot to the other. That's the conventional route across space. Or you could fold the paper so the two dots touch, connecting them instantly across what would otherwise be an enormous distance. That shortcut through folded space-time is what physicists call an Einstein-Rosen bridge. Most of us know it by a simpler name, a wormhole. Wormholes are not just science fiction. They are mathematically consistent with general relativity. Some physicists believe they might genuinely exist, potentially formed inside black holes, or perhaps as remnants of the universe's very first moments, threading through the cosmos as cosmic strings. But before you get too excited, there's a catch. Several of them, actually. Even if a wormhole could form inside a black hole, the gravitational forces there would be catastrophic. The bridge would be incredibly unstable, stretching and compressing under the black hole's enormous tidal forces before collapsing completely, possibly within seconds. And even in the unlikely scenario where a wormhole somehow held together long enough to be useful, all the earlier points about time stopping inside a black hole would still apply. You'd never reach the other end. You'd be stranded somewhere in the middle, suspended in time, without any way forward or back. So wormholes as shortcuts for space travel, at least through conventional black holes, almost certainly don't work in any practical sense. But that's not quite the same as saying nothing is on the other side. If black holes are the ultimate devourers of matter and light, there's a theoretical object that behaves as their precise opposite, the white hole. The concept emerged from the mathematics of black holes themselves, specifically from the Schwarzschild metric, the first exact solution to Einstein's field equations, developed by German physicist Karl Schwarzschild in 1916. This solution describes the simplest possible black hole, an eternal, unchanging point of mass in an otherwise empty universe. And when mathematicians analyzed this solution fully, they found it had two valid forms, one describing a region where everything falls in, and another describing a region where everything flows out. That outward-flowing region is the white hole. Where a black hole's event horizon marks a boundary you can enter but never leave, a white hole's event horizon is the reverse, a barrier you cannot enter from outside, but from which matter and energy are constantly being expelled. The singularity of a white hole isn't the future. It's the infinite past, an origin point that can never be reached, only fled from. In terms of large-scale behavior, a white hole might actually resemble a black hole from a distance. It could have mass, spin, and charge. It might even have an accretion disk. But instead of pulling matter in, its defining feature would be its periodic ejections, bursts of compressed matter and radiation spat out into space. However, these ejections would need to be brief and infrequent. A white hole that released too much matter too consistently would destabilize under its own gravity and collapse into a regular black hole. And so identifying one would be extraordinarily difficult. We'd be looking for something that resembles a black hole, but occasionally burps, with no reliable way to predict when. Unsurprisingly, we've never found one. The uncomfortable truth is that white holes remain a mathematical artifact more than a physical prediction. The eternal black hole from which the white hole is derived doesn't actually exist in nature. Real black holes are born from collapsing stars, merging neutron stars, or other violent events. They have a beginning, and thanks to a process known as Hawking radiation, they will eventually have an end. The time-reversed version of a real black hole isn't a white hole. It's simply the original star before it collapsed. There's also a deeper problem. The laws of physics aren't time-symmetric in the way general relativity assumes. The second law of thermodynamics tells us that entropy, disorder, always increases in a closed system. A white hole, which would require the spontaneous self-organization of enormous quantities of energy from apparent emptiness, would violate this principle. No known physical mechanism could generate it. So as mathematically elegant as white holes might be, the physical reality of our universe seems to work against them. Wormholes of any significant scale appear equally unlikely for the same reasons. Too unstable, too short-lived, and unsupported by any observational evidence. And yet, there's one thing in the entire universe that behaves suspiciously like a white hole. One event that shares its fundamental character in remarkable detail. The Big Bang was a moment when an unimaginable quantity of energy was released from what amounts to a singularity, a point of infinite density, and has been expanding outward ever since. Matter and galaxies continue to be pushed apart by some mysterious force driving the universe's expansion, even today. That description maps almost perfectly onto how a white hole would behave. Matter and energy flowing outward from a singular point, with a time barrier at the origin that nothing in the universe can ever reach or exceed. We can approach the Big Bang with our measurements, but we can never breach the moment of creation itself. Time zero is the event horizon we can never cross. This parallel leads to one of the most radical ideas in modern cosmology. Perhaps the Big Bang was a white hole. And if that's true, then our universe itself was born inside a black hole. This is the heart of a framework called black hole cosmology, developed most prominently by physicist Lee Smolin. The central idea is this. When matter collapses into the singularity of a black hole, it doesn't simply end. Instead, it reaches a state of extraordinary but finite density, and at that threshold, it bounces outward, triggering a new Big Bang on the other side. That bounce creates a brand new universe, a universe that begins filled with ultra-compressed energy, embedded in the infinitely curved space-time of the black hole's interior, where it has an unbounded amount of space and time in which to grow. Over billions of years, that universe cools, forms stars and galaxies, and eventually produces its own black holes, each one potentially seeding yet another universe in a branching, self-replicating chain. In this picture, our universe is not unique. It's one member of an enormous family tree of universes, each descended from a black hole in a parent cosmos, each carrying slightly varied physical laws depending on subtle differences in the conditions that created them. Universes whose laws allow for the formation of black holes would naturally produce more offspring, creating a kind of cosmic natural selection that favors universes like ours. This model would explain something that has long puzzled physicists. Why does our universe seem so finely tuned for complexity? Perhaps it's because it was produced by a process that selects for exactly the kind of physics needed to form black holes, and by extension, new universes. We might be the descendants of countless prior universes, shaped by billions of years of cosmic reproduction. It would also address the question of what our universe is expanding into. The answer in this framework would be the interior of a black hole in an older parent universe, a space whose infinite curvature provided the room our cosmos needed to grow. Even if none of the above is true, no wormholes, no new universes, no cosmic reproduction, there remains one more scenario where white holes could enter the story. And this one doesn't require anything beyond established physics. It requires only time, an almost incomprehensible amount of it. Black holes aren't eternal. Stephen Hawking showed that quantum effects at the event horizon allow a trickle of radiation to slowly leak out. Virtual particle pairs form near the horizon constantly. One falls in, the other escapes, carrying away a tiny fragment of the black hole's energy. Over timescales that dwarf the current age of the universe by factors beyond imagination, this process gradually shrinks a black hole. As the black hole loses mass, something critical happens. Its temperature rises. The smaller it gets, the hotter it becomes. Eventually, in its final moments, the black hole reaches temperatures that exceed even the extreme plasma of the early universe, a state where gravity is no longer separable from the other fundamental forces. At that threshold, something unprecedented may occur. The radiation from the dying black hole becomes powerful enough to break free even from the singularity's grip. In the black hole's last breath, all of its remaining stored information could be ejected outward in a final, brilliant burst, irreversibly, explosively, radiating away from the event horizon in a fashion that closely mirrors what we'd expect from a white hole. In this scenario, white holes aren't counterparts to black holes. They are black holes in the very final stage of their extraordinarily long lives. Not born from wormholes or new universes, but transformed by the slow, patient erosion of Hawking radiation across spans of time too vast for language to properly convey. Long after stars have burned out, long after galaxies have dissolved and the universe has settled into cold darkness, these dying black holes could light up the cosmos one final time. Each one a momentary white hole, a brief explosion of everything that was once irretrievably lost, returned to the universe in one last spectacular flare. Whether black holes are gateways to other universes, seeds of new cosmoses, dead ends in space and time, or slow-burning engines of a final spectacle, we genuinely don't know. The tragedy and the wonder of black holes is inseparable from each other. They exist at a boundary where our laws of physics break down, where our instruments cannot reach, and where our concepts of space, time, cause, and effect stop making familiar sense. They are the universe's greatest locked rooms, but the questions they raise about origin, about existence, about what lies beyond the edge of everything, are the same questions humans have always asked in darker forms. Where did we come from? What lies beyond the horizon we can see? Is there something more? Black holes may be the universe's way of hiding the answers, or they may one day be the key to finding them.